I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, I guess, but at the same time, like, I'll watch anything about 9/11 that's like, oh God, did they?
Okay, do you believe that shit? Do you believe like
did the government
will jet fuel not melt steel? Are you one of the like? Are you a Rosie O'Donnell?
No. I'm not saying that anyone had anything to do.
You'll watch it. I'm the same way. I'll watch it. I don't believe
the towers falling down. I like to watch it and like laugh about the fact that like 2 expertly built buildings like fell down, and because planes hit them.
Yeah,
seriously, like I don't care how big you're gonna make the fucking.
But there's another explanation. It wasn't the planes. It was
it's what the planes did. I can like the pancaking thing seems a little odd. I'm not a structural engineer, but I know enough about the stuff, you know, that like a plane hitting a goddamn building is doing things that building was never designed to do.
Thank you so much for saying
and
that.
The son of a bitch. If the son of a bitch fell over and broke in half, people would say the same crazy shit like, oh, that's never supposed to happen. Buildings don't crack in half. Right. So like, what explanation do you want? Like, a plane made a building fall down. It kind of makes sense that
and
a goddamn plane hit a fucking building.
There's this whole thing where like steel doesn't melt at blah blah blah.
No, it's not about that. But like the argument I have, the argument I have. I want to spell out my argument real fast before you give me the explanation. My argument in my mind is that okay, the structure is not designed to be side loaded by a fucking plane going 500 miles an hour. So that puts weird stresses on design that wasn't designed to hold that load. That plus the fire and heat. Yes, maybe jet fuel won't melt steel. I've seen people do it with thermite out in a fucking test range, open air, this and that. We're talking about a goddamn office building, an office building full of chemicals and fucking things. But don't tell me, this is the thing. It makes it soft. How do you melt fucking anything? Heat. So you apply enough goddamn heat, jet fuel and 10,000 pounds of copy paper in a fucking like cubicle wall that asbestos made shit. Like their structure is not designed to withhold that. So therefore, fucking like the weight of 30 more floors like collapsed on one floor. And the pancaking thing, again, I don't know the best way to explain that. I still haven't wrapped my mind around why it pancaked versus collapsing left, right, anything like that. But like the fucking building fell down because a goddamn jumbo jet ran into it at 500 miles an hour.
Exactly. That's my point. Yes. You know what? I will sit there and I'll indulge those conspiracy theories until they talk to the point where it's like, if a fucking plane hits a building, it's going to fall down. I don't care what anyone does.
Well, not all the time. Like you can't say that with conspiracy theorists because a plane hit the Empire back in 1920 something, but it was a biplane.
I get you.
That was a Cessna.
Yeah, well, it was smaller. It was literally like a biplane. It was plywood and it wasn't
going 500 miles an hour.
No, it was going like 30.
And it didn't have all the fuel that it had and blah blah blah.
I know, but that's what you have to know.
The Wright brothers plane.
You have to know all the fucking conspiracy theorist points to be able to argue them. Because fuck those people.
No, I get you, and I
love you, but goddamn, that's crazy.
I don't mean to make this into a conspiracy show. However, I have watched the footage and seen the ignition points of certain explosives going off at certain times and this and that. Like it actually intrigues me is what I'm saying.
A big thing too.
I will continue watching them. I will never know.
Oh yeah. But no, it's all bullshit. It's like contrails. Don't believe the shit. They're crazy people. No offense, crazy people. I love you. I love your crazy stories. Life is interesting because of crazy people. Don't think I'm talking bad about crazy people. But you're a crazy person. Just admit it and say like, hey, I'm a crazy person. I believe this. And
I'm such a crazy person.
I'll say it too, man. Fuck it. I got some crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would you watch that? You probably own all of the X-Files, right?
No, I hate the X-Files. Fuck that goddamn
DVD
show.
Collection, or
I watch Friends
something
though.
along that nature.
No, what I'm saying, like, okay, the other thing is the thought came across. Like, I've watched controlled demolitions, like people taking buildings down on purpose. And the way those generally work is what they want to do is blow everything out at the same time, and the building kind of free falls. And like that's not what I
top
think.
And bottom.
That's not what happened, though. I don't think in the Trade Center. It wasn't like the whole building gave out and then a free fall. It was boom, 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 faster, faster, faster.
No,
it was staging.
The heat from the heating jet fuel softened the steel. It didn't melt it. It just softened it enough where it couldn't support the weight of the buildings. And then the buildings
load factors, vertical load factors.
At the end, there was all those bent pieces of metal sticking up from the fucking ground because they were bent in such a fashion that they couldn't support weight anymore.
I've thrown an I-beam from 2,000 feet not 2,000 feet, maybe 1,000 feet. No, 500. Let's say 500. I feel like 500 is a safe number. Throwing a fucking hunk of metal off into a cornfield. That son of a bitch will sink 15 feet into the ground. You'll never dig it out.
Yeah, no.
Like I've lost wrenches from 1,000. That in bars, like sleever bars. I ain't shitting you. Like it just falls out of your holder. I've had one go past me. It sounds like a goddamn helicopter. And you just oh shit, and you hide, and then you see it go past you, and the noise changes. And then you never find it. You can watch it go to the ground, and you will never find it. Lost a many little tools like that. But
those
like
heights.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fucking heights and speed. Like the 1,000-foot building coming down. That's fucking insane.
I can't believe that those buildings going down. Like there wasn't like a crater in the earth from that. To be honest,
there was shit buried. 40 feet deep.
I know there was, but
that's why they dug that giant pit, was to get everything up and out of there.
Ground zero.
No, I know, but the pit was like, there was parking underneath.
Well, like, but it all become a giant, like you're talking 1,000 foot of office space. It was a giant pile of shit when they were done. Like when we were able to go and clean up. Did you ever go down there? You lived closer.
Oh yeah, dude, I saw it.
Did you see the rubble?
Yeah, like in the last stages of cleanup. Oh, yeah, okay. I did.
Because I like the way I see the pictures. I never went. I still haven't been.
No, I was living with a dude at the time who was from Staten Island, and like when it happened, he was like calling me, and he like this is like the first days of cell phones for most of us, and he was like, "Hey, dude, like my buddy's place got wrecked in Manhattan. Like I gotta check out. I'm not going to be around for a little while." It's like, all right. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I didn't know why he was leaving. Because I heard about the whole, towers and shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was why he was leaving. But then he took off and he was like, yeah, I got to go. And then if I want to say it was a few months later, we ended up going out there, and then we ended up seeing the wreckage, and it was like,
oh wow, dude!
By then it was still going on, but it was like a fucking.
I feel bad now because I'm talking like I know something about this, and you went there. Now I feel like a fucking asshole. Like
no, I didn't see it when it happened or anything.
No, but still, you went down there like that. That's like, you made the extra little step that I haven't done. Like,
well, dude, I didn't really make an extra step. I just kind of was there. But
I'm just saying now I feel like, you have a firsthand account. It's special compared to like mine.
Yeah, well,
I just saw CNN's bullshit.
Check this out. So Eric, my guy, was supposed to fly out that morning, right? And it was so funny. It was the night before September 11th. Like, it actually still makes me like tear up. It was the night before.
Let's not get too serious.
September 11th. No, I'm not going to get too serious, but seriously, from Vermont, obviously we fly into LaGuardia and JFK all the time, right? To get your hub to go somewhere else.
Well,
right?
That's like us going to Dallas or Houston.
Eric was supposed to fly out. He was so pissed at his boss that he changed his flight. I'm not kidding you. God's honest truth. The night before. He's like, fuck that. I'm not leaving, because his flight was at first flight out, like 5 a.m.
Was it on one of the ones that were used?
He was not on one of the ones, but
it's still terrifying.
He would have taken off and been in New York and been stuck there for who knows how long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
and
2-3 weeks.
It's fucking funny down. That he looked at me the next day and he's like, holy fucking shit. You know, like, God, I'd be there right now. Well, and I'd be stuck there. And I'm like, oh my, I'm like, I can't fucking believe it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just crazy.
So you were probably close to like 20 years old when it happened? I
was, probably just about 20. Yeah,
because I was still in high school. I was like a junior or senior. No, I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore. I graduated in 2003.
Yep. I was working at the phone company at that point. I remember it was the first time that I ever I worked in the call center at that point. I just had, become like an operator, whatever. Yeah. And a customer called in and they were bitching about their bill. And I remember exactly what I said. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Oh, the news was already out and somebody called to
I'm like, no one was monitoring me at that point. You know what I mean? Like, they can listen to you and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, are you kidding me right now? Do you know what's going on? And you're calling in about your fucking phone bill? Really?
Dude, that's some serious shit, man.
It fucking killed me. Like, why would you? Anyway,
no.
This is
actually good. I kind of feel good about let's share some 9/11 stories, not for the sake of that, but to share the experience. It's something we all went through.
Yeah,
and it's kind of cool to hear a different perspective from the people I'm around. Because we all had a similar experience, like the people I've talked to about it, my family, my friends. But yeah, two guys from Vermont. I bet that's a whole different day.
I even remember being so close, because we're we border New York. I mean, granted, it's 7 hours away to get to the city from here.
But it's like a day trip.
But they were worried about the dust and smoke and everything coming out here.
Fallout. The fallout of the whole
where is it going to go? You know what I mean? So it was a big deal around. I mean, obviously a big deal everywhere.
Well, no. It's just a different. It's a different perspective, man. Because, like I said, I was in high school. I remember stopping class and going and watching the news until we watched the news until 1 or 2 o'clock, and then finally one of my teachers was like, "That's enough. Let's all just fucking hang out and talk about things and turn off the news."
When it first happened, the Vermont Air National Guard, our F-16s were the first ones on scene over there.
Because it was what's an F-16's travel time? 10 minutes?
20 minutes, something like that. Yeah. F-16, 20 minutes from here. Yeah.
So it was funny because Eric had that trip, and so I was on the way to work and his flight, since he had changed it, was, an hour after I left for work. And so Eric's at the airport. And,
so you kind of put two and two together.
I'm waiting for my flight. I'm on my way to work. And so Eric, I call Eric and I said, hey, I was just listening to the radio. The World Trade Center is on fire. One of the buildings is on fire. And he's like, what? Really? So Eric was checking into the airport at that point. And granted, like I said, he wasn't going to be on one of those flights, but he was there ready to go. And so I was
and at the time, no one knew also what was going to happen. We didn't know if it was a ground invasion. We could have been attacked by the Russians and we would have been what the fuck?
Oh, exactly. And that's my point. I don't want to turn Knights of the Round Table or even Exploded it into, a political type thing.
No, we talk about politics on here all the time, man. There's no worries.
Oh, we talked a little bit about politics.
Yeah, we try to avoid them, politics and sports. We try to stay a little vague on them, especially because I don't know shit about sports. So, But
it was funny to know that, not funny to know, but it was just I don't know. I'm man, if Eric would have been on one of those planes and stuck over there and shit like that.
Well, the same thing. My father travels a lot. My dad, up to New York. We've done a lot of work up there ourselves. I spent a lot of time in New York when I was working. But he was coming and going during that time, and it happened to be one of his weeks or 2 home too. And like the job shut down, everything shut down. He was going up there, or I think he might have been bidding a job, but everything just shut down. But he very well, like the blackout that happened, the great Northeastern blackout.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
My dad,
brownout or whatever.
My dad was there for that. And he told me like he almost stepped into an elevator like maybe 30 seconds a minute before it happened. So he could have been trapped in an elevator for a week.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know what's really funny about that is like, so I was still, and you're a phone company guy. Obviously, you said that earlier. So I worked at that point. At that point, it was Bell Atlantic that was up here and on the entire East Coast. And so I'm sitting at work and I'm like, are you going to let us go? And I was bitching at that woman, for like, why are you calling me about your fucking phone bill right now? Like,
right.
Just let it go. Like, have you watched the news? Like, what the fuck? Seriously? And so they ended up letting everyone go home. But at the same time, it's like they also brought us all back the next day. And they're like, you're going to work 24/7.
Yeah.
And you're going to take all of these fucking phone calls and you're going to tell them why cellular carriers have shut down. And you're going to tell everyone around here that there's no communication to New York City. And it's so funny. They had like one of our VPs walk in at that point and they were like, we are turning off communication from New York City. And basically they just shut down the fucking switches.
That's some NSA bullshit right there.
They did. They shut down the switches because they had no idea what was going on at that point. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get the security side shut it down, everybody locked down, but to stop communication out of the city, that's also fucked up, like families trying to let other people know. Because everybody up in the Northeast knows somebody from New York. Everybody in the Northeast knows somebody from everybody in the Northeast.
Exactly. But I completely agree with you. And the whole thing was, even if the switches were active and everyone tried to call at the same time,
they would have, you would shut down the boards. And
they couldn't handle it. Like the amount of calls coming out. So,
are we talking like 1 day, 2 day, or are we talking like a week?
Shut it off. From what I know, and literally, I was like a service rep at that point. They shut it off for 2 days.
Okay, I can kind of understand that on the like infrastructure side.
Like in or out of the city at that point, and then it was like slowly turned back on. And so it's kind of like you get it, but you don't. And like, you want to be able to,
you want to be a good person about it. Fucking let people call out. Let them tell their stories. Let their loved ones know.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I do get it. New York is what, like fucking 27 million people?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, like if you're talking
think about your show, and the equipment that you provide for, and you, like I said, you said you worked for like, phone company type thing.
I worked for cell companies. So, I was a tower guy.
So think about like, 1 million people trying to make a phone call out at the same time.
Yeah, each antenna can hold like fucking 1,500, 15,000. Like it's a limited resource though. Like there's only so many calls that can be made on a single tower at any given time.
Yeah, and then panic and all this shit. You know what I mean?
You overload them.
And I'm one of, like, I put like, macro cells up for like one of the project things that I have up here is putting up like, let's put a macro cell here so we don't drop cell signal or text or this or that or whatever. So it's funny to me that they like shut down communication on either side of it.
It's just some sketchy bullshit. I don't know. It's both sides of it. How much of it was the government going like, we have to contain the story, don't let anybody know about it? And then how much of it was
and how much of it was like, a national security thing where they're like, we just need to shut down communications right now because we are being attacked. We don't know what's going on right now, so let's shut everything down. I get it too, because like
a terrorist cell could be communicating via cell phone, so they just shut down the network.
And they're like, we need to shut everybody down, even if it means ourselves, because what's next? You know, like they
I don't know. That's the hard argument. That's the line I have to draw between crazy person and like sane human being, because like being sane is hard. Being crazy is easy. It
is.
Just accept what you hear and go like, yeah, this is like this. Hey, I heard the Kardashians are running for president. I'm voting for the Kardashians. No, you read a headline on Facebook. You're a crazy person because you didn't take the effort to learn like what the real world is.